What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another exciting episode of FORNEVERNEWS! The only news source that provides anything and everything anime and manga related. And we don't bore you. We get into it. Let's do it.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
Okay, people, welcome back to another episode, the Friday episode of FORNEVERNEWS. Yes, people, we have made it through another one, another week, another struggle, all of that good stuff. But in case you don't know, 65% of people watching this video right now aren't subscribed, and it helps immensely if you just hit that subscribe button and that bell to get all notifications. Does wonders over here, legitimately, 100% for real. It helps a lot, so I appreciate all those people that click those buttons. Also, shout outs to everybody that went over and subscribed to the FORNEVERNEWS official channel, where we put the collected episodes into one every Saturday. That is taking off too, so shout outs to that. And it's the end of the week. I don't want to waste any more of your time. Let's get into these stories, baby. And first story on the docket, a bit of a serious one, to be honest with you. We're starting off a little bit heavy here, but this story, it came to my attention. A few people hit me up about it, and also it just reminds me of a few of the incidents that have happened due to younger children watching certain anime. Now, I will say that there is an anime out there for everybody, but there are anime out there that aren't for everybody. In particular, there's some darker shows that at the very least you should have some parental consent, or you know, your parents should know more or less if you're watching something that is maybe a little bit above your head, so to speak. I'll just say that because something recently happened where a little boy lost his life because he was imitating and wanting to try and imitate a series called Platinum End. In case you ain't hear about Platinum End, it's from the creators of Death Note. It's their latest work to get animated. They did also like Bakuman and stuff like that, but pretty much Platinum End is about this dude that he don't want to live no more. He tries to jump off of a freaking building, and ultimately an angel comes and saves him and gives him powers, and he goes into this crazy survival game, and it's some really heavy stuff. Something that maybe a little boy that's like, I don't know, 12 or something probably shouldn't be watching. Let's read this article because again, it's a little bit disturbing. 12-year-old jumps from Kolkata high-rise and hopes to be saved by a superhero. A 12-year-old boy addicted to popular Japanese web series called Platinum End jumped off the 11th floor of an apartment in North Kolkata, falling to his death, reporting news agencies IANS quoting the police on Monday. The tragic incident took place on Saturday, and after initial investigation, police came to know that the boy jumped in hopes that he would be saved by an angel, as shown in the web series Platinum End. And I want to say that this boy was actually in India. I believe that's like Kolkata, somewhere over there in India. And yeah, this was on the Indian news, India.com. It's kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie, because yo, I've always promoted that, like, you know, a lot of kids can watch anime, and you know, some kids are different than others. Some kids can actually, you know, just watch anime and just go on with their day, or they could watch whatever and just go on with their day. Some kids, they get engulfed into that world and they want to replicate things, and this is why even animation over the years in the States has changed dramatically. Like, you go back to the old Looney Tune days where dudes was getting ran over and all sorts of stuff, hitting people with pans and craziness, that nowadays, yo, they don't even attempt to put that on TV because there was a lot of incidents occurring where kids were trying to emulate things. So now they gotta have it, like, they don't even want guns in people's hands anymore, period, because of that type of, you know, scare that happened throughout the, especially the 90s and stuff, all of that wacky crazy shit that the Looney Tunes was doing and hurting and whatnot. They don't do that. But in particular with Platinum End, it's a little bit more, I guess you would say, nuanced, because you gotta search this. Like, you know, Platinum End, I don't believe it was, based on what they said, it was a web show, right? He wasn't watching it on syndicated TV. The boy actively looked on the computer and found Platinum End. So it's a slippery slope of, yo, you gotta watch sometimes. Like, you can't, as a parent, being realistic, I cannot be with my eyes 24/7 on my child. I just can't. You would go crazy, you know what I'm saying? But ultimately, there always needs to be some type of adult supervision at the very least here and there, especially Platinum End, right? Unless he tried to emulate that based off of one episode, he probably saw numerous episodes. So for hours on end, you don't know what your kid is doing. You don't ask a question, hey, what is he doing? So it's like, while yeah, he definitely shouldn't have been watching this, ultimately the parents also have to take responsibility. Like, we cannot keep on going down this slope of saying like, yo, it's the media's job to take care of your kids. No, it's you. Like, you can't always watch your kid. Obviously, they're gonna be exposed to some things, unfortunately, because you're not God, you know what I'm saying? But you try your best to be there and monitor them. And if your kid is going hours hours on end watching a show, just ask like, hey, what you watching? What's that about? And, give them a little bit of insight of, hey, it's not real. So sad situation all around. Very, very tragic incident. But ultimately, you do gotta, you gotta watch your kids at the end of the day. Like my nieces and nephew, a bunch of them, I got them into anime. They've been watching anime. They watch all sorts of shows. But I always stress them, this is, at the end of the day, this is animation. This is not real. Anything in there, like, hey, you enjoy it, cherish it. Maybe you learn some positive lessons, but we don't do that shit. We don't emulate that shit. So you gotta also have a conversation in general about what's fiction and what's reality with your children. It's a scary world and all that jazz. But yeah, my heart goes out to the family. Prayers and condolences to them, because I know that's not easy, and it's just a crazy situation all around, man. And by no means was I trying to be aggressive or pushing blame, and if it did come across like that, I apologize. But when I hear situations like this, it gets me very mixed, because again, I have a whole bunch of kids myself. I got my daughter, I got my nieces and nephew, and while they love anime, well, not really my daughter, my nieces and nephew, I'm always cognizant of, well, what are you watching? Oh, and giving input as well, because yeah, it's a scary world out there. Moving on to something, while definitely serious, maybe a little bit less serious from that situation, because that was a hefty one. And you're probably thinking, yo, Fornev, where are we going with Fornever News here? What are you doing right now? Because next story is about Kanye West, aka now known as Ye, well, legally now known as Ye, and Kim Kardashian. Now y'all know that whole drama, and that's not what we're here to unpack. Like I said, y'all know Fornever News, it gotta be related somehow to some geek nerd culture, so that's how it ties in. Relax, please, please, please give me the grace to explain, because y'all probably heard about Kanye and Kim's split, and Kanye, and they trying to make Kanye look like a monster out there, even though I sympathize, and again, I don't want to get too deep into it, but I sympathize with a father that's going through that. As somebody that in the past went through that situation, it is a living freaking nightmare. It is terrible. You feel like you've lost everything and whatnot, and you're still fighting for your kids at the same time, so it's a messy situation. With that being said, one of the things recently that was amongst a million things that's been said during this whole situation is the fact that Kanye said that Kim accused him of stealing one of the last times he was over at one of their residences, and he said that apparently he was accused of stealing for leaving with his Akira graphic novels, which I ain't gonna lie, it just made me feel so sad. Like, yo, dog, he's trying to get his fucking books. He's like trying to spend time with his kid. He saw his favorite books that he's mentioned Akira many different times. It was the influence for some stuff in his music videos and stuff like that. We know Kanye loves his anime and manga. He's listed his favorite anime of all time. Like, he's an anime and manga guy. So you know what I'm saying? He's with his kids. He sees his favorite books, and you're gonna try and villainize him for taking his books. Later on, shout outs to Ye, because he always gotta have some style and pizzazz. And then I think it was another shorty that he's with, because again, it's very, very messy over there, and you see shorty's leg like right next to the Akira graphic novels on the table. Like, shout outs to Ye. First of all, shout outs for him being cultured as a motherfucker. Like, if you getting the Akira graphic novels, first of all, those are some giant books. Second of all, Akira legendary. Like, that's even better than the movies. So you know what I'm saying? Yay, mighty fine taste. Also, I think it's a little bit ridiculous. Now, obviously, I don't know every freaking detail, but to try and accuse him of stealing for taking his own manga, what are we doing here, people? Like, I don't know all of their relationship. I'm not getting into all their relationship. I'm just saying right there in that circumstance, if that's indeed what happened, stop, dog, stop. As somebody that's went through a lot of those similar situations, it's heartbreaking. Everybody's a mess. The kids, most importantly, you got to think of them. But dog, Kanye with the Akira manga volumes, I ain't gonna lie, dog, it's a fight for your life. When dog, you want to play around, you want to do whatever, that's all fine and dandy. I'm taking my manga, okay? Like, you ain't playing with the manga, baby, especially those Akira graphic novels. Nah, we're gonna go with the next shorty, and she's gonna be reading them as we relax it and kick it. Shout outs to Ye, dog, you got my support. Crazy mess, but he got his Akira manga volumes back, thank goodness. And yeah, I just wanted to touch up on it, because again, even though it's not all the way related anime manga, there is a little thread, and it was interesting to talk about it. And if you want to see me talk more about things that may have a small thread tied to nerd and geek culture, definitely let me know, because that was an interesting fine line to walk as we continue this show. But let's carry on to the next story we got, okay? Which next up, just a really dope story for Attack on Titan. Always love to hear all of the wins, especially it's going out like a Goliath. You know what I'm saying? So many things happening right now. We're on the final season, part 2 of the anime. It's about to close off here in another few weeks. Well, apparently there's a TV Demand Awards for 2021, like the most in-demand show for this and that. And according to this, it says Attack on Titan was named most in-demand TV show in the world for 2021. So I believe it. I mean, we have part 1 at the very beginning of the year, and then we closed off the year with part 2 of the, you know, final season or whatnot. And yeah, especially part 1, the setups, the build-ups, kind of going into this whole new world if you think about it, because the final season of Attack on Titan, very different show from the first 3 seasons. The first 3 seasons is trying to find the answers. The 4th season is having a lot of the answers and figuring out what to do with them. So, you know, it's crazy that even a show that changed so much, and not many, barely any shows can really do that, change drastically and still be of that high quality and still be in demand like this one, to be the most in demand of 2021. Shout outs to Attack on Titan. We're closing it off very, very strong, and my god, I cannot wait for the finale to see how things go. But yeah, Attack on Titan named most in demand TV show in the world for 2021. Yeah, colossal achievements. I'm gonna run the colossal joke into the ground, baby. Yeah. Moving forward, I feel like I covered this one before. However, I did see it and I did want to talk about it a little bit more, just because it's been a few developments since then. And this is essentially the rise and godlike rise, no falls at all, of the Tokyo Revengers manga. It says here, Tokyo Revengers manga volume sales evolution. There was a steady rise, and this is all courtesy of at Yellowstone over there on Twitter. Shout outs to them. There was a steady rise in sales, but then the anime came in and catapulted sales. We will have to see what new heights the anime's 2nd season can bring. And as you can see, like that, and it's kind of sad because, yo, shout outs to Ken Wakui for continuing on despite, like, the sales only gradually, barely was going up. Like, you see volume 1, it's all the way down there, and it just kept on. It's almost as if the quality kept it going for like all the way till volume 22, and then that's when season 1 of the anime starts, and it just goes from like, okay, you know, it's doing alright, to from 22 to 25 is 875,000 for volume 24 to 25, and you see volume 22 is less than 250. My god, the amount of explosion, especially from the beginning. Like, realistically, I'm sure, and that's also why, because I've heard some things, and I'm gonna catch up eventually and see what's going on. A lot of Tokyo Revengers manga slander with some of the latest chapters. I don't know exactly what's happening. I'm just hearing people comparing it to Fairy Tail, and oh my god, yeah, that's probably also why they probably say, yo, dog, we finally hit the home run. Like, we went from, you know, the days of 62,000 to 875,000. Could you extend it just a little bit more, add a little bit more story, so maybe we can get an extra 4 or 5 volumes of this 875? Okay, and that's probably what happened. Why Tokyo Revengers? Because I've been said that there was a couple of points that Tokyo Revengers may have been able to stop, and I thought it was going to end right there, and it kind of kept going. And now I don't know how much longer it's going to be going, because they've said multiple times it was on the climax, it was ending. It's doing great in sales, and if I was the publisher behind it, maybe with the negative backlash I might think twice, but nevertheless I would still be like, it's selling a lot, dog. This is a lot of money. And at the end of the day, as much as we love and admire anime and manga for the aesthetics, for the artistic expression and all that stuff, it is a business above all else. And if they want more Tokyo Revengers money, they're gonna be, yo, Ken Wakui, make us that money, okay? But yeah, this is the evolution of Tokyo Revengers sales. And again, I feel like we may have looked at these before. If we did, forgive me. But with everything that's going on, especially the slander with Tokyo Revengers, I'm curious to see how many more volumes they're gonna crank out before they drop the good old ending, the conclusion, so to speak. But yeah, Tokyo Revengers sales evolution, it's just unheard of, dog. Like, you go from 1 to 25, and it's just all the way up. We haven't even had really any type of decline, other than maybe, like, you could see probably like between 12 and 13, something very freaking tiny, but no declines, dog. It's just been up and away. Shout outs to Tokyo Revengers. I'm scared now to catch up. I ain't gonna lie, I'm scared. Okay, people, next up, just a small sales update for Blue Box, one of the latest series to hit Weekly Shonen Jump magazine. In case you don't know, it's like a romance meets sports series, if I'm not mistaken. And it says here, Ao no Hako, aka Blue Box, by Koji Miura, has 600,000 copies in circulation for the first 3 volumes. That's very good. It's averaging basically 200k a piece for 3 volumes, yeah, they're gonna be pushing this one. Definitely, this is going to be like to make up, so to speak, for Haikyuu leaving, even though I don't know if this will reach Haikyuu levels, but it looks like this is taking that void of that, and as well, we haven't had a romance series in Shonen Jump in ages. Like the last one was freaking harem at that with Nisekoi, so it's probably going to fill both voids, which, if you think about it, the potential is astronomical. Like, if you can grab the romance audience and the sports audience, you could have the Nisekoi fan base and the Haikyuu fan base all together, which could make it pop way more. So time will tell, and I've heard great things about it as well. But Blue Box, 600K for 3 volumes. It'll hit 1 million soon. Next up, this was a little bit old, but I've kept this article because I did want to talk about it at some given point, and now's the time, because it was announced probably a few weeks ago at that Squid Game Season 2 begins the quote-unquote Squid Game universe. So essentially, Netflix is trying to do the Squid Games universe, and it says here, after the announcement of Squid Game Season 2, Sarandos confirms that the series will live as a universe, meaning we'll be getting much more than just another season of the hit series. They're gonna milk and run this shit to the ground. Like, Squid Game was very special. It was like, yeah, you've seen survival games all, for a long time. I've seen from Future Diary, all sorts of stuff. I've seen in anime everywhere or whatnot, but there was something just special about it. And now they're gonna have season 2, and then they're gonna have spin-offs, because realistically speaking, you could have, unlimited people playing the Squid Games, all sorts of throughout the years. Maybe there's different Squid Games, different people that are putting them together and orchestrating them. Like, there's massive amounts of things they could do, but I feel like they're gonna milk it. And after season 2, especially even going into season 2, it was already like, probably should have ended. Like, yo, shout outs to LeBron with one thing that he said was, yo, dog, go see your daughter. And that's what I genuinely felt like. Yo, dog, why? Like, fuck all of that shit. I want to see my kid. I'm sorry. My kid comes before everything. And I get it. Like, I got to put a stop to the Squid. You should have put a stop to it when that old man was in the hospital bed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying. But yeah, they're doing Squid Game, Squid Universe. And I feel like that's going to really turn people off. Like, the second season is going to be massive and huge. And if it's really good, it'll leave a lot of people like wanting more. But once you start doing spin-off after spin-off after spin-off, that's when it starts to get a little bit hectic. Like, how about just let season 2 cook, and then we'll go from there. So we gotta wait and see, but it looks like they're about to milk the living crap out of Squid Game, which rightfully so. I ain't gonna lie, I've seen Squid Game everywhere, especially when it was having that big burst a few months back. Everywhere. My daughter's on Roblox. There's just so many Squid Game related video games on there, like tons and tons of stuff. But yeah, people, Squid Game, Squid Universe incoming. Next up, people, the manga sales for the week of January 23rd through the 29th. And yeah, honestly, just looking at it, Chainsaw Man Volume 5 with 3,850, Chainsaw Man Volume 4 with 4,500. I mean, it's dope to see Chainsaw Man Volume 4 with 75,000 and Volume 5 following suit, and Chainsaw Man Volume 3 now breaking 107,000. That's awesome, and it's showing that even over here in the West, like, Demon Slayer isn't just a Japanese fluke, like, oh, it was big over there. No, in the West, at number 1 with 8,600 copies sold this week, bringing its total to 56,000. Like, it's getting ready to pass manga volumes that have been on these charts for months on end with a couple of weeks. So shout outs to Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, Stories of Water and Flame. Again, I have no doubt in my mind that's getting animated at some point. Who knows, that might even be a sequel to the Mugen Train movie or something, although I feel like that would be like, no, the next Demon Slayer movie has to be something different, feature a different Hashira, make it feel different, not just, hey, Rengoku again. But you never know, they might decide to go that route, who knows. And either way, again, that's the US manga chart sales for the week. Nothing out of the ordinary, but pretty cool to see nonetheless. Okay, people, and last story of the episode. It's really dope to hear, even though it's really quick, that apparently the Demon Slayer Hinokami Chronicles game is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Demon Slayer, the Hinokami Chronicles game, gets Switch version in Japan on June 9th. This year's 10th issue of Shueisha's Weekly Shonen Jump magazine announced on Monday that Sega's Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, the Hinokami Chronicles game, will launch for Nintendo Switch in Japan on June 9th. The Switch version of the game will have a standard edition and a limited edition. The standard edition will be available digitally and as physical copies and will be priced at $65. The limited edition will be available as physical copies only and will be priced at about $103. The limited edition will include download codes for 5 Demon Slayer Academy costumes for Tanjiro. Really? Like, that's the limited edition? Oh, and Nezuko, Zenitsu, Inosuke, and Gyu, as well as codes for 16,000 Slayer points and the Butterfly Mansion Patient Wear costumes for Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke. Sega has not announced whether or not the Switch version of the game will release worldwide. I'd probably get it for the Switch, even though I've played the living crap out of that game, and I will still play the crap out of the game. I really enjoyed that game, but yeah, that feels quick. feels like maybe it didn't sell what they expected, and that's why they're like, well, bring the Switch version out because we already got Hinokami Chronicles 2 on the way or something like that. But yeah, people, those were all the stories we have for today's episode. Curious what you guys think. Favorite story, most important story, interesting story. Did you like me including a little bit of pop culture in with our stories? Because again, it connected. And yeah, what are your favorite stories from Forever News? That's all I have for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in. And you guys just watched another episode of Forever News. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell, baby. Let's go.
So just go to